Hello, beautiful, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 22 of my 6-month podcast series where I'm diving into all the things building my businesses. Yes, multiple businesses simultaneously, figuring out what all that looks like. I left my job at the beginning of March of this year, and it has been such an incredible experience just focusing on all the things that truly light me up with my product line, Book of Bijou, with our community platform, Empowered by Women, with this coaching thing that you guys, if you've been here a part of this 6-month journey with me, you guys have got to be a part of me launching my coaching offer, which is really pretty cool, actually, thinking about it, and how that's expanding me building my speaker business, my sponsorship program, all of the things. We're diving into strategy, we're diving into systems, we're diving into mindset. And again, this is episode 22. So I'm excited to dive into this one. I feel like it feels like almost it's been so long since I recorded the last episode, which is obviously not the case since I'm just doing this weekly. But I feel like so many things have transpired. And not necessarily in the sense of just like big milestone things, but just great things in general and a lot of really great energy. I'm going to make a note to myself really quick because I want to make sure I mention something. But let's start with kind of just like round robin, really quick updates across the board. So Empowered by Women updates, we have officially launched our member hosted office hours, which I'm really excited about. And a couple of people have already booked a session for them to host, which is awesome. That means it's something of value. It's something that our members are wanting to participate in as hosts. So now we just need to go ahead and start promoting it and hopefully get some people registered onto those office hours so that the people that are hosting it are getting that opportunity to connect with our other members and to be able to share their genius and to pour into the women in our community. So super excited for that. The first one, I'm actually going to be kicking off the first one, which is on October, that's so far from now, August 14th. And it's going to be all about AI. So I do plan on doing my own, like a member hosted office hour, probably once a month. And honestly, probably like on a variety of different topics, because the great thing about these office hours is that it's not like a presentation. You're not just coming to watch a 1-hour webinar or anything like that. You actually get to bring your questions, bring your deck, bring your website, bring your whatever it is that you want to audit and that you want to get clarity on and that you want to improve on or get started with. You get to bring that to the table and ask people that are actually doing the work. So you all know that I've been loving the world of AI, and I get really excited to share with people how they can start optimizing the way that they're using AI a little bit more so they're not just like relying on generic prompts. And so they can also kind of peel back that very superficial perception of AI, the perception that I used to have before I really started diving into what are its possibilities. So the first one I'm kicking off is going to be AI for brand clarity and content. So excited for that. And then I've pretty much, the way that I've systematized it, I've created a new link on Calendly. Everyone is going to be providing their own recording or their own meeting link. So I'm not the one that has to be on there, that has to send them the link. Again, I am all about streamlining and simplifying. And even though there's so many different moving parts, I'm always looking at what can be done to make it a little bit easier. We're still bringing on all of these value adds, but I'm not doing it in a way that I'm doing so much heavy lifting, right? So the members, they can directly go onto the Calendly link. They can book whatever time slot they want. I've set up all of the confirmation emails and reminders. I've automated my Gmail so that anytime those confirmations go into my inbox, they immediately get shifted over into the member hosted office hour folder that I made for myself in my inbox, and it gets forwarded to my VA. I've already built out all of the SOPs for that value add so that when that email confirmation comes into my VA's inbox, then she knows exactly what to do with it. She knows exactly where to take that content, where to plug it in, how to create the event in Wix, what information or emails that she needs to send to to the person that booked the session, what kind of promotional materials, what are those templates? So I created the template in Canva. I love systems and I knocked that out, I feel like fairly quickly, and it felt so good. And so now that we've gotten 2 people that have booked and are basically volunteering to host a session, my VA is working on it today on bringing those to life. And so even though I have all of the SOPs already written out for her, she has been kind of like touching base with me saying like, oh, can you double check this? Can you double check this? And she even asked if we could hop on a quick call and go over like the Canva graphic because we didn't actually go over it during our weekly call on Monday. And I told her, do everything first. We need to stress test our SOPs. And what I mean by that, and this is something that I learned from the incredible Stacey Tushel, stress test your SOPs in terms of have you, if you don't have any employees or whatever that's going to be using it, if it's just going to be you, you're going to be the one, or your VA is going to be the one that is following it bullet point by bullet point, step by step to the T to make sure that anyone that comes in and has to take on that task, they will do it exactly the way that you need it to be done. So there's no room for gray area. There's no like, okay, Crystal, what am I supposed to do for this part? Or Crystal, did I do this right? I told her, do the whole thing first, and then I will go over it with you. And if something is wrong or if something is missing, that means adjustments need to be made to the SOPs. That means a little bit more information is needed. A little bit more clarity is needed there because I don't want it to be a high touch point for me. I don't want to have to keep going back in and double checking your work. I want you to be able to solely rely on the SOPs if need be, if I'm unavailable, if I'm on vacation, whatever the case is. This system needs to just be running, and you have all the tools that you need, and you don't need me to be able to help you do your job. So she is currently doing that. There was already one instance where it was like, there was even just the formatting of the title, like the one that I had test created for myself. I capitalized the first letter of all of the main words. And then for hers, she capitalized the entire title. And I said, okay, there's some inconsistency here. I don't care which direction it goes in. It just needs to be consistent. 100%. I believe that consistency is representative of the quality that you offer, regardless of what your offer is. So I said, just pick one. And that's what we need to stick to. And she said there was a little bit of confusion in the SOP. And I said, okay, great. Thanks for letting me know. I went into the SOP and it said, capitalize all the main words, but you can see how there could be misinterpretation of what that means. Does that mean like do it in all caps? So I added a little bit more clarity and said, capitalize the first letter of all of the main words. That way there is no room for misinterpretation and error. And we can keep on with our consistency moving forward. So I love SOPs. I know you guys know that. But that, I feel like I have continued to refine our SOPs so much. And I'm honestly like, I am just continuing to look at it. What do we need to adjust? Where are we seeing friction in our processes? And me getting the information and communicating the information to you and all of the things that I'm expecting you to do. How do we refine it so we can be more preventative of these fires instead of just being reactive to everything? So I've also not only built out the SOPs for our member hosted office hours, I have refined it for our Momentum workshops because those were very outdated. And I've also created a system in place to finally dictate like when it was last updated, what is the status? Is it already up to date? Is it still in review? Is there an additional action item that's needed for that SOP? So very, very specific. Okay, I need to mute this thing because I'm getting all these notifications on my computer and that's very distracting. All right, let's see. I almost completely just disconnected my internet, which would not have been a good thing. Okay, so that is so far the main updates for Empowered by Women. Let's talk Book of Bijou. I did go ahead and do a pop-up recently with our Five Sons market because Elle, who is in charge of our markets, was not able to be there in person. So I decided to do a little pop-up. I didn't sell any books, but I also have kind of already decided in the past that market isn't necessarily the best market for my product, and I'm accepting of that. And I just, I popped up anyway, for one, because we're organizing it, and two, I know I need to get that product out again in public and in front of people, even though that's not necessarily our market. But I brought my laptop and I really, really utilize my time very intentionally. Even if it's a slow market for me, I have my laptop and I do all the things that I need to catch up and do. But also, I got to connect with our vendors, and I love being in community. And you guys already know this. I am all about relationship building and ideating with everyone and just talking about like, what is it that we're working on? What are we struggling with? All of those things. I think those transparent conversations and also the inspirational conversations are so necessary for us in entrepreneurship, because that is how we keep moving forward. That is how we continue to pour back into ourselves and to keep our motivation building. So I am potentially bringing on one of our other vendors. I was telling her about what my strategy is with Book of Bijou, of how, because I'm so tight with my capacity, and markets are great, but they're also like, it's exhausting, and I don't want to be out every weekend. I want to be able to reserve weekends for family time. I am trying to leverage other strategies for how to market it. And I want to create those postcards where we can partner with other jewelry brands, and they're sending out our postcards on our behalf and really helping to spread the word about our brand. And I was, I'll potentially be tapping on her to help me create those postcards. It's just one task off my plate. And I get to support fellow women in our community that I absolutely love. So I'm excited for what that could potentially look like. And there is another vendor that's absolutely obsessed with her. And I'm wanting to potentially share my coaching offer with her, more leaning on the strategic visibility side. What I've been working with my clients on recently has been a lot of like brand infrastructure and getting a lot of brand clarity and building out their brand ecosystem, which also is very, very exciting. But it's interesting to see that, because I started this coaching offer really thinking in my mind that I was going to be supporting more on the outward visibility side, thinking about like, what collaborations can we put into place? What partnerships have you not yet explored that would actually be, really your worthwhile? And this particular vendor that I have in mind, I just already like, she's kind of a fairly new business, and I can see all of these different collaborations that I would do if I were her. And I want to be able to support her in that. So I will potentially pitch her maybe as soon as I'm done with this podcast. So yeah, Book of Bijou, it's been a little bit on the slower side in terms of the updates for that. But I was gonna save this part for the end of the episode, but maybe I'll just chat about it now. I realized last week, obviously I came back from vacation, so there was not a lot of time for me to work. And that's probably why I felt like I had been neglecting the Book of Bijou side of things. But another thing that I've started doing is getting even more particular with my calendar and how it's being run. I had previously shared that I'm blocking out an hour every single week for speaking, specifically speaking, whether that's doing the outreach, following up with people, making adjustments to the website, not just for the heck of it, like always intentional adjustments. I just do not have the time and space to just like play with little things like that. So it's always like, if I'm making an adjustment, it's for a very specific reason. But I realized that I need to be even more intentional with the things that I'm putting on my calendar and how I'm delegating my time to all of these different things that I'm building, so that I don't have a week where I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even touch anything on the Book of Bijou side, or oh my gosh, I didn't even touch anything on the speaker side. So I have set up my calendar so that Tuesdays it's like generally speaking, it will be focused on coaching, my coaching offer, and all of that comes with that. Wednesdays will be Empowered by Women. Thursdays will be Book of Bijou. Mondays and Fridays are just like catch up and whatever really needs the most support. But on top of having those kind of category of days, I'm also going to be going in every single Sunday right before the week starts, and not only blocking out my focus time after every single collaboration call or client call that I have. That's something that I've already been doing, that I've been loving, that I've been doing because it gives me a little bit of a buffer. But I'm also adding to those 1 hour focus time blocks. I already have the speaker block. I already have the, I don't know, what is it that I said? I already have the speaker block and then whatever else it is that I said. But I'm going to be doing a block for all of these different things where I'm spending an hour speaking or doing the speaker outreach. I'm spending an hour on doing my sponsor program outreach. I'm spending an hour on doing event follow-up. That's something that I wanted to for sure make sure that I have on my calendar because we have these 2 big events coming in October and November, and I just cannot let that go by the wayside. Otherwise, that's going to be absolutely tragic for me and our community and our events. So I need to make sure I'm on top of that. So I have a whole list of things that I need to block out. And then I kind of just like space it out over my calendar depending on what's already on there. Since I have some categories for Tuesday through Thursday, I do try to I have been trying to coordinate it with like, okay, if this hour is solely like on like sponsor outreach or event follow-up, that falls in line with Empowered by Women. So I'm going to try not to put that block on a coaching day or on a Book of Bijou day. It's either going to be a Monday or Wednesday or a Friday, but all of my time is going to be delegated in a very, very specific way so that I'm not losing sight of the things that are moving the needle forward. All right, so that's Book of Bijou updates. Speaking updates, I do have a speaking engagement in LA on August 21st. So if anyone is listening from the LA or surrounding area, come join us. It's a free event for entrepreneurs, whether you're a man or you're a woman. Come join us. It's going to be at the Warner Executive Suites. We're co-hosting this event with them and with Seek Coaching LLC, which is led by one of our brand partners, the amazing Marie ZQ. So I'm so excited about that. I'm going to be offering a mini keynote, obviously going to get some content. And then we also have a panel that we're going to be doing, and we're positioning some of our members onto that panel, which is like the whole point. That is what we want to create. We want to create more opportunities for visibility for our members, and just give them that opportunity to really let themselves shine and for them to be able to position themselves as the experts and authorities in their fields, and to support them like beyond that, getting on the stage, getting prepared before stage, which is why we have our speaker incubator, getting them the content and the videos, and the filming afterwards so that they can continue to use all of that and that experience to really, really blow up their exposure and position themselves properly. So I am really excited for that. And it was originally going to be a family trip to go down to LA. We were probably going to do like a Wednesday through Saturday type of thing. And then I realized for some reason, I thought they were starting school on the 11th. And I double checked the school calendar because I realized that there was like camp the weekend or the week of the 11th also. And I said, wait a minute, how is their camp still going if school is already starting? So I double checked the first day of school, and they actually start on the 19th, which is 2 days before the LA event. And I was like, I don't want to take them out of school during the first week of school when they're still getting like acclimated. They're getting to know like the process and who's in their class. So it's going to just be a quick me trip where I'm going to fly in Thursday morning right after I drop them off from school. I'm going to head straight to the airport, fly out to LA. I'm going to be staying with our fabulous Nikki. And then we're going to be heading over to the August 21st event, the Entrepreneurs Who Lead event that evening, and pouring into our community that way. And then the next day, I'm going to be flying back home, hopefully in time to be able to pick up the kids. That is the plan, so that I'm not away for too long. But the thing is, this is not a paid speaking engagement. So, looking at it just from that standpoint, oh my God, my elbow is like really hurting all of a sudden. Looking at it from that standpoint, it would have been a trip that is just like an expense, right? It's just for like the exposure, quote unquote exposure. And obviously the experience, the content, all of that, like that is an intangible form of ROI, yes, that I do value heavily, but also because I'm in a space where I need to make sure that I'm also bringing in revenue and prioritizing that so that I can continue doing what I'm doing. I decided I'm going to do something the morning of August 22nd. So before I leave, I'm going to maximize my time there and see if I can turn this into not a trip that is an expense for me, but actually a trip that is revenue generating for me. In the beginning of the year, I mentioned that my word of the year is profit. And I feel like systems probably would have been like the real word of the year considering everything that I'm doing. But profit is for sure still on top of my mind with everything. And with this podcast, hello, I quit my job. Now what? Like I literally need to bring in income. So profit has been my word of the year. And looking at this trip, I want to make sure money is not just being spent on all of these trips. I have multiple trips planned over the next few months for speaking engagements. And I can't just chalk it up to like, oh, it's a great opportunity to be a speaker. I need to figure out ways to make sure that I have a very clear path to also turn these into revenue generating trips and something that is directly fueling into my business. So I decided August 22nd, the morning of, we're going to do something. And I was really thinking like, maybe we could do something fun for the community. Like we'll do like an intimate gathering and it'll be like this like whole event thing. And it didn't like, I don't know, it didn't feel right. And I was like, I don't know, first of all, if I wanted to spend the time necessarily creating an event and gathering the attendees and also charging like something kind of like minimal that it might not even cover the costs of travel still. So the next idea was, what if we do kind of like an intimate workshop where it's a little bit of a higher price point, but there's a few people, like no more than 5 people, and we're diving into strategy. Again, I was like, that's kind of a cool idea, but it didn't feel transformational enough. Like it didn't feel like, if I'm going to have an event and I'm going to sit with you for 3 or 4 hours, like I want you to get a heck of a lot out of it. And I didn't want the people in attendance to just like have some basic strategies and some like share ideas back and forth. That's a great thing to be able to have. And that's something that we obviously offer pretty frequently. But I said, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do our first VIP day. And I'm so excited for this, you guys. Like, I am so excited for this. And I had been thinking about it for a little while. And, you know, part of it is like, okay, it's kind of a shiny object because I really want to focus on growing my signature offer. But in this particular instance, it's not a shiny object because it's very intentional, like the reason why I'm doing it. Again, to make sure this trip is covering its expenses. It just makes sense to be able to do that. And it is still very much in line with what I am doing with my signature offer, right? So it's basically my 6-month signature offer condensed into 3 hours. And you guys, I am so ridiculously excited for this because like we're going to go in deep. It's not like we're just going to be talking about all the things and then I'm going to give you homework. Whoever is sitting next to me that day, like we're going to be doing the things live. Like I'm going to be doing it with them, whether that's building out their GPTs, whether that's looking at their email sequences and actually helping them write out, okay, you need this, 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 and this. Like, let me help you like streamline that and make it easier for you. Okay, this is going to be like what your strategy is over the next few weeks. It's going to be so good. And let me get my notes because I feel like there were a few different things that I wanted to say about it. I'm just like really, really excited. And there was a part of me that had a little bit of imposter syndrome because obviously since this is a VIP day, This is not something that I've offered in the past. This is going to be the highest ticket offer that I've ever offered. And so there's always going to be that part of us, regardless of how confident you are, where there's like a little inkling of like, can I actually pull this off? So I leaned on my wonderful ChatGPT, and this is why I think people need it. You need AI in your life, not because it replaces you, not because it creates things for you, but because it really helps to push you in the right direction. And for me, at least, like it prevents me from overthinking. It prevents me from wasting time on things that I could be using that time for other like visionary things. And so for this VIP day, there was this girl, I can't remember what her name is. I downloaded her free, like how to create your VIP day freebie thing. And I actually like read through it and I was like, okay, this is like interesting information. And I leaned on ChatGPT to say, hey, based on what you know about like my signature offer and my experience and my expertise, like I am going to be launching a VIP day on this day. It's going to be 3 hours. Help me create a few different structures of what the VIP day would look like. Okay, so I didn't just start from scratch and be like, hey, I want to host a VIP day. Like, what could I potentially host? It was, hey, you know what my offer is, condense that into 3 hours. And this is where I want like everyone to just recognize that this is the power of AI. It's not like it's just, I always kind of had this superficial thing that like, oh, you're just being like lazy. And you actually have like no brain and no genius and no experience. And that's why you're relying on ChatGPT to create things for you because you have no value to offer. Like, that's honestly like how I felt. And I'm like, no, now it is condensing time for me because I am already feeding it all of the things and I know how much value I have to offer. And my time shouldn't be spent trying to like dilly dally on like, okay, the first 5 minutes is going to be this. Like maybe I could potentially do this. Like, no, give me a few different options. And it did very, very quickly. And I looked through the options and I'm like, okay, that sounds really great. That doesn't really sound like something that I would want to offer. And I get to adjust it from there. And that's really like my jumping off point. And I've also leaned on it to help me like with my pricing strategy. So the freebie I downloaded gave me a pricing strategy, but I also utilized GPT as kind of my research assistant of saying, based on what you know about me, based on how much like I'm currently charging for my signature offer, and based on the research that you do, based on other similar people to me in the similar industry and offering similar VIP days, what do you think my pricing structure should be? And then it breaks it down in terms of this is how much you should charge for this, this, or this, and this is why, and all of those details. And I'm really like looking into it and saying like, okay, I agree with that. I don't agree with that. Okay, that looks good. That probably works. And again, just making it so much easier for you so that you're not stuck on Google clicking and reading and overthinking and getting analysis paralysis and giving yourself too much time for self-doubt and imposter syndrome. ChatGPT has helped me just move forward with so much confidence and stay in the energy of conviction. And I think that's why it's so powerful. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. Not only did I have it help me kind of give me a general idea of what this VIP day could look like and what the pricing structure could look like, I also helped it just like prompt some, I'm going to create an intake form. What are the questions that you think I should be asking? So I started that off as my base. I added in a few more questions that I knew were particularly tailored to what I wanted to offer and who I wanted to support. And then I also had it create a 14-day promotional sprint plan for me. It originally created a 3-week plan because this is the 22nd. So that's happening this month in just a few weeks. And I said, I want this sold, or it needs to be sold, obviously, before the 22nd. And it gave me a promotional plan all the way up to the 21st. And I said, I'm not going to be selling on the 21st. It needs to be booked by the 21st, girl. Like, what are you doing? And so I prompted it to give me a 2-week plan, and it gave that to me. I adjusted it as I needed. It gave me plug and play content kit. And basically, I'm just like following that and saying, okay, this is day 3. This is what you're suggesting. Great. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I am not overthinking it. I know that my value is going to be communicated and poured fully into the person that I'm supporting. So if I get this sold, regardless of how the content was created, and even if I couldn't pour all this time into creating the promotional content to get the space sold, once it is sold, like the person that is going to be sitting next to me is going to be walking away feeling on top of the world. Like I truly in my heart believe that. And I'm also allowing myself to have that profound belief that it's going to be sold and that it's going to be freaking amazing. Okay. I think we need that energy. And that's the energy that I'm going to continue going off on as I continue to promote this offer. So knowing that I still have my signature offer, things are still happening on the back end, but outward content right now is going to be focused on getting this offer sold and this VIP day sold. And the coolest thing is that people have been so supportive. And I've had people already resharing it for me and like saying amazing things about me. And I'm like, I want to cry. But I've also had people that have been like offering to share it with their communities. And I'm like, without me even asking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, absolutely. I would love that. And it's just a wonderful feeling, honestly. It is a really, really wonderful feeling. And I think it speaks volumes to the importance of relationship building and to how powerful trust is and to how powerful just being a good human is. And I feel like that's something that I've mentioned here and there, but it can kind of be like the underlying foundation of any good business strategy is focus on relationship building, focus on building that trust, focus on showing up with authenticity and integrity, and people will be in your corner to support you. So obviously, you know me, I love my systems. I'm not just going to be like, oh my God, wonderful. I would love if you could share it. And then that's it. I'm like, okay, this is amazing. I would love that, girl. If you get me, if you send it to someone that you think would be a great fit, they end up booking, I will happily give you a referral fee. So I'm giving them an incentive. And I'm also going to be sending them a quick blurb of what the offer is so that they can easily share it even more so, right? Whether that's in their email list, whatever it is, I'm going to be sending these people an actual email saying, hey, thanks for like being willing to share my offer. Like, this is how you can speak about it. Like, here's the language you can use to speak about it. Here is, I'm not going to do an affiliate link, but like, here's where you can send them all of the things. I would be so grateful. And then again, reiterating that they get a referral fee if they end up booking with someone. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about it and I'm just excited. So hopefully I will give you some really exciting updates about that in the next couple of months. One of the things that I want to mention also is that, like I said, I downloaded this freebie for the VIP day offer. And I want to mention this because we are absolutely in this education age, in this information age. There is just so much information at our fingertips. And because the algorithm works the way the algorithm does, I get ads and ads and ads and ads on days. Every single day, multiple ads targeting coaches and funnels and things like that. And I have been signing up for quite a few of them because I also believe in being a forever student. But the thing that I want to get clear is because, like I said, everything that I'm doing is with intention. And I know there is always room for personal and professional development and for improvement. And I want to make sure that I am continuing to learn not only for my own sake and for my own business, but so I can continue to pour that information into my clients. But what I'm also making sure to do is that I'm not just attending all these webinars and saying like, okay, great, I'm going to implement that. Okay, great, I'm going to implement that. I believe that everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt. I am going into these webinars, analyzing all of the information that they're sharing and moving forward with intention and seeing like, are there commonalities between what this person is saying and what this person is saying? And like, what has been working across the board for all of them? And what can I take and apply it to my business in a very intentional way? So I've seen people that dive into all of these courses and then they don't take the time to actually implement. Or they take all these courses and they try one strategy and then they try the next strategy and try the next strategy. But none of those decisions are backed by intention or intuition, really trusting themselves to have the discernment of, okay, this is a great strategy for me, or this is not, or this wouldn't work for my business, or this lights me up. That absolutely doesn't. So I am taking the time to soak all of this information in, but I'm not allowing it to pull me in all of these different directions and give me so many ideas and so many like pushes to do this and pushes to do that that I'm feeling chaotic. Again, I have my brand ecosystem already built out. I know the foundation of what it is that I'm building. So that has given me so much clarity in, okay, this is going to work for me. This is not. Sometimes there are webinars where like the first 10 to 15 minutes, I'm like, nope, this is not it. And then I leave. Sometimes I sit around for the whole thing because I'm genuinely curious. Like, that is a very interesting take on the strategy that you've put in place. Could that potentially work for me? And now that's sitting in the back of my mind. So when I do pull a potential project from my idea vault of what can I implement in the future, now I have all of these different resources of how I could go about putting that together. So, I feel like, again, there's so much information out there, but if you are not taking the time to implement it and to be very intentional with how and why you're implementing it, that can get you stuck on the hamster wheel. That can absolutely lead you to burnout. That can lead you to feeling like complete failure because you're trying all these things and nothing is working. And that clarity is priceless. And that's what I've been supporting my clients with so much. And I love it so much. Speaking of clients, I had a really, really wonderful call with a pending client today, right before I started recording this. So we have a tentative contract to start in September. So we're really excited about that. My other pending client that I've been talking to for a couple of months now, but she's had a few things come up here and there. I believe she'll be starting sometime with me in August. So I am going to be following up with her in a couple of weeks. But I feel like I'm building the momentum and it's feeling really, really good. Okay, so that's it for the coaching and the VIP. Let's move on to the speaker side of things. Last episode, I shared that I got 2 leads from Gig Salad. Both leads I followed up with. I told you I follow up with every single lead almost like immediately, inviting them to book a call with me. And the first girl actually did. And we had a wonderful, wonderful conversation. It was not at all the direction that I thought I was going to take it in. Now I'm like, did I already share this with you? I don't even know if I shared this with you. I feel like maybe I did. But in case I didn't, this is why I used to listen to my episodes before I would record the next one to make sure I'm not repeating myself. But really a quick recap in case I already sent it or I already shared it. The event that she posted about was one specific event. And then as we were talking, she had done a little bit more background on who I was and what I speak on and who I speak to. And she had this other idea in mind because she has a young women's group within her community. And she thought that would be the perfect place to position me in. So she's chatting with a few of her people. And instead of me saying like, yes, I would love to speak for your women's group, I said, yes, like I would love to create a long-term partnership where I and some of the women in our community can come and speak and facilitate and pour into your women and do workshops for them based on whatever topics they're looking for. So I immediately jumped into, okay, great. This is not going to be a one-off. Let's see, how do we create a long-term partnership with this? How do I continue to support you so that we can support, the women in your group? And that's also another thing that I support my clients with is how do you get really creative and strategic about these collaborations and about these partnerships so that even something that on the surface could look like a one-time opportunity, how do you continue to nurture that relationship and negotiate it into something that is long lasting and is a gift that keeps on giving. So I need to follow up with her. We didn't book anything because it was we were just like ideating on the spot, but the conversation went really well and she seems pretty excited about it. I know I'm very excited about it. And obviously that will offer our members even more opportunities to get involved, to build their own speaker resumes, to be able to share their workshops and share their genius, and to continue positioning themselves as experts. All right, let's see. What else? I think that might be it. Oh, SCORE. I have my presentation for SCORE in a couple of days, August 7th. So that's going to be the day that this podcast goes live. So really excited about that. I did do the presentation for our Empowered by Women community last Friday, and it went really well. I got a lot of great feedback, and I wanted to make sure I did that so that I could also refine the presentation if needed for SCORE, since that's what I was originally creating it for. And I'm so glad I did that. I almost canceled the event for our community because I thought I was going to have time to work on it while I was in San Diego. I absolutely did not have time to work on it. So I built it out completely on the Thursday before I presented the workshop. So less than 24 hours beforehand. And I think it went so good. Again, ChatGPT helped me structure things and helped make it easy for me to just create the workshop. And from there, I ran through it a couple of times, actually saying the things and then tweaking the things to make sure that it was still, from my perspective, that it was still my zone of genius, that it's not just me just reiterating some random things that GPT gave me, but everything is being created with love and with immense value. So I will keep you updated on how the SCORE presentation goes. I have no idea how many people are registered for it. I feel like they said that they were going to let me know, but they haven't let me know yet. Then I realized I have to add in a few intro slides. So that is one of the time blocks that I have for my calendar this week, where I blocked out an hour to make sure I can refine the SCORE presentation a little bit more. So a lot of exciting things in the mix. Okay, so if you're in the LA area and you are ready to feel like an absolute badass in what you're doing and to feel so good about your brand ecosystem and your foundation and what you're building and your visibility strategy, let me know. Okay, one spot, 3 hours in person. Okay, so we're gonna really be side to side or facing each other, however you want to do it. And it's gonna be so freaking good. If you have any even inkling of oh, I feel like this might be what I've been needing, we need to chat. Let's just have a girl to girl talk. Okay, I'm not going to force you to buy anything. That's not how I operate. I'm not going to push the sale down your throat. I want to make sure it's a good fit for both of us. I'm not going to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my own time. That's for dang sure. So if any part of you is interested, or even if you know someone that would be a good fit, let me know. Let's chat. How can we support each other? Anyways, you guys are amazing. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week with hopefully some more really amazing updates.